Most dating advice is centered around how to get women to like you. But the men who were in really great relationships didn't get there by asking, how do I get her to text me back? They think about things completely differently. And today I'm going to share with you how you need to start thinking about dating so that you can start asking better questions to get what you're after too. If you're new to my work, my name's Courtney Shand, and I love helping intelligent men embody that natural sense of confidence that comes when you align who you are with what you actually want in the world. This naturally shifts you out of a getting mindset and into a building or creating mindset. So let's dive in. I want you to think about the last few dates you went on, and maybe you found yourself thinking, what do I need to say in order to keep her interested? Or maybe afterwards thinking, how do I get her to text me back? Or how do I have her see me as relationship material? This is what I call the getting mindset, where you're on the date, but instead of being present, you're monitoring. Did that joke land? Is she into me? Should I have said something differently? Should I have done that differently? And at the end, you leave exhausted because you just spent the last hour performing instead of connecting. Or let's fast forward. Maybe you get into a relationship, but you still have that same level of anxiety. You find yourself constantly adapting to what you think she wants, compromising on things that are important to you, and walking on eggshells to keep things smooth. Even when you get what you want, it's not as fulfilling as you wanted. The getting mindset, as I'm calling it, doesn't work because it's fundamentally built on scarcity. You're operating from a I'm not enough and I need to get her validation and this relationship as external proof that I'm worthy. Which, I get it, I've been there and this is exhausting, which is why I want to shift you into a different paradigm today. Because this shows up in three major ways in my clientele. The first is a confidence issue, which makes sense because you can't build confidence from external validation. Every time you're needing approval, you're giving away your internal power. Because real confidence comes from internal alignment to your values and principles. The second way this shows up is a lack of presence. Because when you're in getting mode, you can't actually be present. You're too busy controlling outcomes, managing impressions, and trying to avoid rejection. And women can feel this. There is a felt sense when someone is performing instead of just being with you. And you've probably felt it yourself. And the third way that this shows up is by chasing intensity, or what I usually refer to as limerence. Because the getting mindset actually creates this desperate, grasping energy that you have associated with chemistry. So when you feel intense about someone, it's not usually because of genuine compatibility, but rather that they're an external representation of the validation that you're looking for. And this is why if that relationship does progress, it feels equally intense and draining. If you've resonated with any of this, there's nothing wrong with you, but I do want to shift you into what I call the creating mindset, because this paradigm tends to be a little bit more fun, and it's where I want to invite you into to start playing in the dating pool. Because the creating mindset starts with a completely different question. Instead of asking, how do I get her to like me? You're asking, what am I genuinely excited to build with my life? And here's what this looks like in practicality. Let's say you love mountain biking. If you're in getting mode, you might downplay the fact that you like mountain biking or wait until she asks more questions or shares that she's interested in order to continue talking about it. What you're actually doing is managing your personality to fit what you think she wants. Whereas when you're coming from creating mode, you're already building a life that genuinely excites you. So when you meet someone, you're not trying to impress her, you're actually assessing, would she enjoy being part of what I'm building? Or does being around her add to this experience or detract from it? The energy is completely different because you're not seeking her approval, you're inviting her into something that's already naturally fulfilling. And as I've been watching the clients who are already inside of the rebrand put these principles in action, there are three core shifts that I've observed. One is that their confidence becomes internal. They're not measuring their worth on her response anymore. They know their values and they're living according to those. And confidence naturally emerges from that alignment. The second shift is that presence becomes natural for them. It is their default. Because they're not trying to get anything anymore, they can just be there. They tell me that they feel more calm and grounded, and like they can just respond to what's actually happening instead of trying to manage how she perceives them. And the third shift is that they stop chasing intensity. They can tell in their gut the difference between real compatibility and the anxious intensity that comes when you're trying to get external validation. And as a result, they're naturally more attracted to women who genuinely enhance their life or experience, not just the ones who fill this temporary void. So how do we make this actionable for you? There are 3 steps that these men have been making that I want to share with you so that you can start putting these in practice as well. The first is that you need to develop new awareness of what your baseline is in your nervous system. What I mean by that is you need to learn what calm actually feels like so that you can tell when something's causing anxiety. You can read that as a signal that this may not be for me. So if you're anxious before a date, it's data. If you're obsessing over her response, it's just data. Your body's just telling you that you've slipped into getting mode. The second thing is to get really honest about what you want to build or share. Like, why do you want a relationship? Not what you think you should want or what would impress other people, but what genuinely excites you. Do you want to build something together? Do you want to travel? Do you want to go on adventures? Do you want deep intellectual conversations? What is it that you want to share within the relationship once you get it? Because when you're clear on this, you'll naturally start looking for women who would be interested in those things too. Remember, you're not convincing someone, you're vetting them for alignment. And the third thing is your relationship to being alone. There's a common misassociation that I hear from men where they associate being alone with being lonely. And it's totally human to want an intimate connection. But when you're associating being alone with loneliness, what you're doing is projecting your happiness onto a future relationship instead of looking for ways to add happiness to a relationship. And the shift really happens when you stop seeing being alone as a problem to solve and more as a space to create something meaningful to invite someone into. Because if you're building a life that you're genuinely excited about and looking around at who you're naturally connecting with from that space, you're going to be coming from a totally different vantage point. One where you're assessing romantic compatibility from a place of abundance instead of trying to have someone save you from loneliness. 2 very different energies to come from. And this is when dating becomes about finding someone who enhances what you've been creating, not just filling a gap that's missing. Because at the end of the day, the men who have the relationship they actually want didn't learn the best pickup lines. They got clear on what it is that they wanted and started looking for people who would naturally thrive inside of what they're already building. And then they invited her in. This is the process that we're teaching inside of the rebrand, to help men step into more embodied confidence, presence, and to stop chasing those feelings of limerence or intensity that are keeping you focused on the wrong person so that you can start attracting the women who would be naturally compatible with you. If you're ready to shift out of getting mode and into creating mode, we'd love to show you how to do that. I'll put the links in the description for you to book a discovery call where we can have a conversation and see if this intensive one-on-one work is the right fit for you. And if not, that's okay too. There's plenty of other ways that you can plug into this type of content so you can continue refining your skills and practicing a new way of being out in the dating space. But if you're a really intelligent man who's serious about finding a compatible partner who has some emotional depth, these are the conversations that we love having behind the scenes inside of the rebrand. And I'd love to be having them with you too so that you can be getting those results as well. As always, I hope this was helpful and I'll see you guys next week.